Saint of the Day. May 25. Saint Bede the Venerable. Doctor of the Church, monk, historian. Born, 673 AD. Not recorded, possibly Monkwearmouth in present-day Sunderland, England. Died, May 26, 735, aged 61 or 62, Jarrow, Kingdom of Northumbria, present-day Tyne and Wear, England. Venerated in Roman Catholic Church, Eastern Orthodox Church, Anglican Communion, Lutheranism. Canonized, declared a Doctor of the Church in 1899. Pope Leo XIII. Major Shrine. Durham Cathedral, Durham, County Durham, England. Feast, May 25. Patronage. English writers and historians, Jarrow, Tyne and Wear, England, San Beda University, San Beda College, Alabang. Saint Bede, also known as Venerable Bede and Bede the Venerable, was an English Benedictine monk at the monastery of St. Peter and its companion monastery of St. Paul in the Kingdom of Northumbria of the Angles, contemporarily Monkwearmouth Jarrow Abbey in Tyne and Wear, England. Born on lands likely belonging to the Monkwearmouth Monastery in present-day Sunderland, Bede was sent there at the age of 7 and later joined Abbot Ceolfrith at the Jarrow Monastery, both of whom survived a plague that struck in 686, an outbreak that killed a majority of the population there. While he spent most of his life in the monastery, Bede travelled to several abbeys and monasteries across the British Isles, even visiting the Archbishop of York and King Ceolwulf of Northumbria. He is well known as an author, teacher, a student of one of his pupils was Alcuin, and scholar, and his most famous work, Ecclesiastical History of the English People, gained him the title the Father of English History. His ecumenical writings were extensive and included a number of biblical commentaries and other theological works of exegetical erudition. Another important area of study for Bede was the academic discipline of computus, otherwise known to his contemporaries as the science of calculating calendar dates. One of the more important dates Bede tried to compute was Easter, an effort that was mired with controversy. He also helped establish the practice of dating forward from the birth of Christ, Anno Domini in the year of our Lord, a practice that eventually became commonplace in medieval Europe. Bede was one of the greatest teachers and writers of the early Middle Ages and is considered by many historians to be the single most important scholar of antiquity for the period between the death of Pope Gregory I in 604 and the coronation of Charlemagne in 800. In 1899, Pope Leo XIII declared him a Doctor of the Church. He is the only native of Great Britain to achieve this designation. Anselm of Canterbury, also a Doctor of the Church, was originally from Italy. Bede was moreover a skilled linguist and translator, and his work made the Latin and Greek writings of the early Church Fathers much more accessible to his fellow Anglo-Saxons, which contributed significantly to English Christianity. Bede's monastery had access to an impressive library which included works by Eusebius, Orosius, and many others. Comments. Given that this selection is very short, I will comment on the title of Venerable conferred upon Saint Bede. What does venerable mean? When can a person be said to be venerable? First, venerable was a title of honor attributed by the Church to a person whose process of canonization was underway. The application of this title has varied over the centuries. For some time, a person whose process had been introduced was called venerable. Later, the Church replaced this with the title Servant of God to refer to the first stage of the process of canonization. The next levels of this process are beatification and canonization. The person was beatified and received the title of blessed after the Church had exhaustively examined his or her life and works and concluded that the person practiced the theological and cardinal virtues in a heroic degree. A first miracle was also required to be declared blessed. Since the beatification included a moral certainty that the person was in heaven, the Church used to permit some kind of cult in the place where the person had lived or exerted influence, for instance, his city or religious order. The person was canonized and declared a saint, the last step, when new miracles, usually 2 in number, were verified. When they were confirmed by an exacting board of scholars, the person was canonized, i.e., he or she has declared a saint and pointed to as a model for Catholics and presented for the cult of the Universal Church. Venerable was used, therefore, for one whose process had been introduced. In the good times before Vatican II, when everything was serious, the word signified that the person was worthy of great consideration and respectability, in a word, worthy of veneration. It was already a great honor to have one's name introduced for the process of canonization. Second, in common usage, without any canonical implication, one can say that a person is venerable in many cases. Let me give some examples. A man or woman is called venerable when he or she has advanced in years and conserved the seriousness and dignity that this age requires. So, we venerate an 80-year-old man who always fulfilled his duties in the formation of his numerous family. To call him venerable means that his long and continuous practice of these virtues generates respect. A man who displayed heroic behavior in combat or a general who won many battles also deserves to be called venerable, because such men carried out valiant actions that deserve respect. In principle, anyone who risks his life for the Church or the state has realized an outstanding action and is venerable in this respect. Another example would be a religious woman who took care of lepers for a long period of time, running the imminent risk of being contaminated by the disease. We call her venerable for her long selfless service. Therefore, in common usage, venerable is used for the person who has an extraordinary will, temper of spirit, and constancy that enabled him to exercise an upright behavior for a long period of time even in face of adverse circumstances and at the risk of his life, health, and comfort. This person inspires a special admiration for those who deal with him. They feel that justice demands that they pay him some tribute of respect. This kind of respectability results from seriousness, strength, and abnegation. To reach such a high level of fulfillment of his duties, the person must have been serious, strong, and abnegated. A good example of venerability can be found in the statue of Saint Benedict that is placed in downtown São Paulo outside the grandiose monastery of Saint Benedict. The statue of Saint Benedict stands outdoors looking at the city that stirs and passes at his feet. He is portrayed in his 60s or 70s with a great long beard and a shepherd's staff in his hand. His person inspires meditation, profound thoughts, seriousness, and stability. He is the faithful image of the venerable patriarch. Unfortunately, a large number of statues we have in our churches do not inspire veneration, due to either the sentimental style of such statues influenced by the Sulpician movement of the 19th century, or the modern style that was imposed everywhere after the Council. But we can still find venerable statues worthy of our admiration here and there. How I would like to know Saint Bede the Venerable personally. I imagine him wearing a long Benedictine habit, with a grave voice communicating wisdom. I picture him as a man grandiose as a cathedral. On my knees before this venerable man, I would like to ask for you and for me some of the venerability that he had, because, without some kind of venerability, no one can be truly Catholic.